You've come to the right place, traveler.
Alright lads, welcome back to the channel. This is gonna be another Leaguestarter build guide, and this time around it's gonna be Voidknight Auradin that we created in 1.1. Of course, Sentinel and Voidknight, they're receiving a lot of changes, so we're gonna have a little bit of a different setup, but the main premise remains the same. It's gonna be the disintegrating aura around our hammers. We're gonna talk about how this scales a lot. This is one of my most played builds in 1.1. We face tank pretty much everything, even above 800 corruption and Aberoth as well. I'm gonna show you a little bit of the gameplay right now and how it plays. This is 900 plus corruption on this character. So we want to proc our anomaly, and we hit once with our void cleave, and we just hammer away. We're not gonna be using volatile reversal, of course, this time around. I'm using healing hands as my movement skill here, but we are not gonna have this luxury next parts. Now this build has an incredible amount of leads. As you can see, even if something hits me, our life is going up very fast, and with 100% block you can tank a lot of things. In the next parts, of course, we are actually going to have even more life, because even on a min-maxed version you can have 3,800, maybe 4k life, but we're gonna have a lot more than that and a lot more defensive layers as well. So I expect this build to be amazing. Now, of course, in an era without volatile reversal, we need to question Sentinel's damage, but I think it's still gonna be good, and we have some new techs to help us with our mana sustain and everything like that. Alright, now that this is done, let's get into the planners and see what we are cooking with this build. Before we do that, of course, do hit the like button if you like the video, and subscribe to the channel for more content. We got more build guides coming up and a lot more content in general. It does help me greatly. Leave comments below and let me know what you think, and if you have any questions about the build. Alrighty, let's check out the planners and see what we have here. Now, for this build, I will give you two different versions of it. One of them is gonna be the end game with Aberoth's command, like we had before, and in the early game, you can take advantage of the Forgotten Knight set with the new set shard affixes, and we can craft those on our gear. Now, there is no way to say if this cannot scale more than the other version into the end game, but this is something that we need to discover while playing in the 1.2 season. I will play this build myself for sure, because I love this build, and I can give you, after we do some testing, a more refined and updated version, and a min-maxed one as well. But for the time being, let's see what we have here. As I said, this is a hammer throw with disintegrating aura. Now, disintegrating aura does not scale with the more damage multipliers from the tree on the hammer throw, like from here, but it does scale with flat throwing damage a lot, and you want void damage, damage over time, void damage over time, and things like that. Also, area of effect scales the area of the aura as well. Now, as per usual with all my planners on the build guides, we have progression on the tree so that you can follow and see what's important. We need all the minus mana cost because disintegrating aura is very expensive. Now, other than that, we are gaining symbols of hope, which of course they're changing in 1.2. They will be automatically casted, and you don't have to maintain them or anything like that. I was not using symbols, sigils of hope in the previous iteration, but now we're gonna be using them. We want the block, of course. We are gaining a fourth sigil here, and we are going for the increased damage here, the flat damage, which also converts into void damage, and more increased void damage from this one. The last 3 points, I'm having them here for the extra gain rate, so that you can gain your symbols a lot faster. Now, here's the thing. Because we are going to be pressing this for less damage taken, if it's needed, because as I said, in the end game, this build is ridiculously tanky, and it's gonna be even tankier next season. If you want them if you want to press them often enough, this is very good. Otherwise, you might want to take a little bit of mana regen, but it's not a lot, and it's not gonna benefit you a lot anyway. Now for the Devouring Orb, while we are moving, because we are gonna be taking the Dark Moon here, which makes Devouring Orb orbits around you, and with the changes on the Devouring Orb, basically it's gonna be doing damage over time in an area around the orb, which is very good because we are scaling damage over time anyway on our build. We're gonna be taking the Abyssal Rush so that it gets auto-casted, and of course the Abyssal Judgment, when the Devouring Orb expires, we're gonna be gaining 1 Void Essence, and from the passive tree, whenever we are actually low on mana, we will be expending those essences into giving us back 30% of our maximum mana. This is a new tech to help alleviate our mana, and other than that, extra duration here, Abyssal Emission for extra cast, and we want the Void Resistance Thread Chance and the Slow Chance. The Void Resistance Thread Chance allow us to change our Blessing from Black Sun into Void damage instead of Void Resistance Thread Chance, so it's gonna be really good. We're gaining extra damage and just a little bit of global more void damage. Why not? It's there, it's free. We are not gonna hit the 90 vitality, but it's still very good. Last points, I have them on Sightless Star. This basically makes it so that the Devouring Orb, whenever it's getting casted, it only consumes 50% of the cooldown and the mana cost, so it makes it easier from the mana side, and also you might have more Devouring Orbs around you. With this, we are scaling a cooldown recovery rate on the build through Anomaly, that is our next skill here. Now I do like this point here. Basically makes it so that your Anomaly doesn't send the monsters away and you don't have to press it ever again. We are going for the Time Bubble, which basically sticks around you and giving you a whole bunch of buffs. We want the attack speed and the cooldown recovery, as I said, and we are maxing out Void Maw. We only take 2 points here, and if you get +1, then you put the 3 point there. As I said, we have a lot of leads from our tree, and with Anomaly, this boosts our leads rate quite a bit, and a little bit from our gear as well. Now, the disintegrating, the Abaddon's command is making Void Cliff not to be a movement skill, but we can actually cast it with a scepter. So we are getting the cooldown recovery rate, and we want the Ravaging Aura, which scales with void damage, and is helping us a little bit with our clear. But most importantly, after you hit an enemy with a Void Cleave, you get plus 100 flat throwing damage, which means that you will be gaining a lot of flat damage for the Disintegrating Aura. It scales a little bit on your single target, which we will need. Alternative, you can go for Abyssal Legos if you want to, but I don't find it to be very good if you don't have it specialized. Let's talk a little bit about the blessings and the idols. Excuse me. As I said, void damage on our Black Sun here, all resistance on Nine of Dragons, armor, block chance and block effectiveness. Very important, get 8% block on this blessing, and we are gaining a little bit of mana so that we have better gaining from the void essence. Let's check out the passive tree here. The Sentinel passive tree, the main one, does not receive any changes, so we're just grabbing Juggernaut for the resistance and the strength. A little bit of block from Stalwart here, less damage taken from nearby enemies, and this is gonna be just flat health. On the Voidknight, we have so many new options on the Voidknight that is kind of crazy. I would like another 30 or 50 points, and I would all invest them in the Voidknight. Abyssal Endurance is gaining a threshold for less damage taken, which is gonna be amazing. Void and physical damage taken less. We need to travel here to get our leads, and we also gaining a little bit of leads rate on the threshold as well. 2 points here so that we can travel here. Throwing void damage, as I said before, is scaling a lot of our Disintegrating Aura, but because we are gaining spell void damage increase, this will also scale our Devouring Orb. 10% extra life, which we did not have before. This is one of my new favorite passives on the Void Knight. This is Void Penetration, and also on the Threshold we are gaining free frailty and slow chance. We're gonna be slowing everything around us. It's gonna be nuts. And temporal velocity here, a little bit of vitality, but most importantly, cooldown recovery rate 15% for our Devour Nodes and our anomaly and everything else on the build. The threshold is not amazing, it might help you a little bit, but that's about it, generally speaking. Now, we are getting singular purpose, of course, more void damage and less damage taken from the slowed enemies and time rotting enemies. We probably gonna be time rotting a little bit from this one, so we can take advantage from the less damage taken here. We have the Echo Chance as well, of course, and we get 5 points here. This is now also giving us 15% thrown attack speed, which before only gave melee. Fantastic chain right there, and 10% extra echo. We don't maximize the echo here because it doesn't really matter, it's not gonna be a major thing. I do like 5 points on Dread Form, not only from the movement speed and the void damage, but also for the threshold, less effect of slow and chill on you, which is gonna be such a nice quality of life. We're maximizing Eternal Form, and this gives vitality, extra health on the threshold, of course. Now this is when the Void Essences are coming in play. This one is just travel because we are gaining our Void Essences from a Devourer Orb, as I said. And the Void Well is when you are reaching below 0, you are actually gaining 30% of your maximum mana pool when you expend the Void Essences. Again, this is a little bit of experimental. You might never reach 0 mana with the build, but if you do, it's there to use it. Otherwise, you take out the Devourer Orb essences and you put them in more damage, but because Devourer Orb is gonna be expending more mana than we did before, I think this is gonna be very, very good. Abyssal Fluctuation, another less damage taken. We have elemental damage taken as Void, 50%. So it's gonna get converted into Void, and we have 20% less Void damage taken here and 5% here. So it's a very, very strong defensive layer. The last points are gonna be on the Paladin. We just want 15 points here on the Symbol of Hope. I'm grabbing the block effectiveness here, but you can only put 3 points here and get a little bit of elemental resistance if you need it, but I like the block effectiveness. We don't have access to a lot of it, and this is amazing because it's flat life and endurance, so it helps us a lot with our gear. Now, regarding our gear here and our idols, so I really like Terror Crown and Apocalypse Plate on this build because on the implicit we have increased echo damage when a skill is echoed. Keep in mind that our Devour Nodes also will be echoing, so these buffs are gonna be up all the time. This is the same from our idols and from the implicits here. So we have increased void damage over time and increased void damage, and also there is a prefix for echo damage, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so you might even utilize this because it rolls a lot more damage from this. So one of the two, I think this might end up being a lot better. In the previous iteration, I didn't want that because sometimes you wouldn't echo as much, but now with Devourer Orb, there is a good chance this will be the better prefix to get. Once again, a few unknowns. It's a Sentinel, it's a full rework, so bear with me here. Other than that, we want vitality and life on those pieces. Now, on the amulet, belt and gloves, you want flat throwing damage to scale your disintegrating aura. On the eternal gondolas here, you can get thrown attack speed or throwing damage as exalted affixes. Both of them are really, really good for your build. And other than that, a little bit of mana regen and life. The base doesn't really matter. I have Coroning for extra vitality here, and I have a tier 7 minus throwing cost attack, and on the Siphon of Anguish you want throwing attack speed, throwing minus cost and life. You might need tier 7 minus mana cost here, but I believe you're gonna be fine with the Void Essences, and you can go for a fat tier 7 life. Otherwise, you just go tier 7 minus mana cost like we did before in 1.1, and you're gonna be very happy with it. Citadel boots, fantastic piece of equipment, of course. Movement speed, vitality, and health. I'm also gaining a little bit of fortification for the reduction of crits here and here as well, so that we can cover that. And Code of an Erased is a magnificent thing because we are gaining a lot of armor and armor mitigation to damage over time. This is what's gonna make us super tanky, and the Lich is gonna recover everything that is coming to us. Now you want plus a level of hammer throw here, so you can grab the Zeal. Otherwise, you're not gonna have enough points to travel there. So very important to do that. With the new rune of weaving, it's gonna be a lot easier to get something like that because you can grab a whole bunch of Code of an Erased, and that's use the rune of weaving on top of them. If you get the hammers, good. Otherwise, you throw it away and you go into the next one. So you don't have to level up manually a whole bunch of them by killing monsters on your echoes and things like that. Now, when it comes to the idols, we have 2x2 Adorned idols that are amazing. Increased void damage if echo recently and void damage over time. We are gaining 4 of them, and from the enchantments from the new system, I'm adding armor and armor mitigation and damage over time with endurance. Endurance is the priority here, so make sure that you are capping your endurance from those. I only have tier 5. You can get tier 7 as well on your enchantments. The small ones, we have Void Penetration, which is gonna be really good. The Small Weaver idols now, so make sure that you get a little bit of Void Penetration. Other than that, on Abaroth command, you can go Void Damage and Void Penetration. I would suggest tier 7 Void Damage this time around. In the previous iteration, I was saying tier 7 Void Damage, Void Penetration is what you need. But because we have Void Penetration on the 3 now and on the idols, we can compensate and get even more increased damage, right? If you see here, my void damage is very high, and we can go even higher. This does not include anything that has the word echo from it. So we are talking about 2000 void damage here from all the echo implicits and the idols, etc. So it's a lot of damage that we are getting. Hopefully that's gonna be enough to compensate for the volatile reversal. Now, let's get into the second planner here. This is gonna be early on. We don't have, the best bases or anything like that, or any uniques for that matter. I do have a couple of changes on the passive tree, so make sure that you check out the progression. Most of the things are still the same, but just a few extra things. Now, as I said, Forgotten Knight set. So this gives us Void Penetration with Time Rod with 2 set bonus, which we don't care because we don't scale Time Rod, but we are gaining 3% more Void damage per stack of Time Rod. So this is 36% more Void damage, and this is why this has a chance to actually outscale the Abaroth command version. Now the Abaroth command has a lot of damage on it, Void Penetration and incredible increase percent. So, and you can add more on the legendary affixes. So it's very hard to get over that, but we'll see where we land. Now, Nagasa Scimitar is the sword that you want because it has damage over time on the implicit, and you just craft the prefix, which is also void damage, and gain haste for 1 second on hit, which is very nice. Other than that, Void Penetration, and I have Blind on hit, so because we have so many hits, this is going to be very consistent, so you don't care about critical avoidance early on. Flat throwing damage, nothing changes here, and you just craft the second one. This is a little bit of Time Rod. We want a little bit of Time Rod chance. Same here, block chance. The shield is very nice because it covers your poison resistance, but because of your vitality, as you can see, you don't even need this shield. If you find Iron Glass, it's the best one because it has highest block chance on the implicit. This is the best base to go for it. You can get all resistances on the suffix as well, and life, and extra void damage and less void damage taken on block, which is fantastic. When we are blocking basically void damage, we're gonna be taking almost 0 damage. Other than that, pretty much everything is the same on the affixes. It's just a few different pieces Plated gauntlets give us endurance before we start getting our enchantments. The most important part about this is that I have a couple of different idols here for you to know what to look for. Inspiration when you kill an enemy with a void skill is very nice because it gives you 20% cooldown recovery. So I'm probably gonna be using one of those myself even on the end game version, because for the Devouring Orb, more Devouring Orb out, and a little bit of health on the suffix. Other than that, there is one huge idol that you can utilize, and this is increased damage if you have cast Devouring Orb recently. We always gonna be casting Devouring Orb and increase void damage on the suffix. Same 2x2 adorned idols, and just a Hummel, whatever you want to add there. This is not even having blessings because, as I said, it's just to showcase a little bit early. The skills are pretty much the same with one exception. We don't have Void Cliff here, but we are utilizing Abyssal Echoes. And this is very good for a lot of reasons, because you just press Abyssal Echoes once, and because it blinds, and we have blind on our sword as well. You are gaining this damage vs blinded 20% more damage, which is a global multiplier, and you also gain an attack speed. So this is another reason why I'm saying this might actually outscale the Aberrant combat, because we can utilize Abyssal Echoes this time around. Other than that, we also gain a Time Rod chance buff with this one, so we're gonna be stacking our Time Rod to get full advantage of the set. We are gaining the extra echoes from this one. And down here I went for extra damage over time on our enemies that have Abyssal Decay on them. Everything else remains the same on the skills. So this is all about that I have to say about the build. Honestly, I don't know which version of the build is gonna prevail at the end game. We're gonna find out together once the 1.2 season hits. Thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you do enjoy this build as much as I do. If you need anything, if you need help, you can always drop by my streams or leave a comment below and ask your questions. I will catch you all in the next one. Bye bye.